Heel. Good job. All right, well, here we are back again at Animal Training Development Center. Today we have with us Beau. He is here for day 5 of his 10-day Alpha Dog program days. And so what we're doing is we're starting to lay this foundation. You can teach a dog hundreds of different command words, but the fact is you really only need 4 to be really strong in your obedience and able to go pretty much anywhere you'd like to be with your dog together. And so we call it the 4 legs of obedience. You need a good strong sit, you need a good strong heel, you need a good strong down, you need a good strong come. And if your dog can do those 4 things wherever you go, no matter where you go, then you're going to have a pretty well-trained dog and you're going to be able to enjoy that level of training. But in order to get there, of course, there's a lot of training to do. And so with Beau being just 8 months old and just full of that youthful energy, and the fact that he doesn't have a lot of life experience yet because he just hasn't been in life very long, he is a handful, especially as you get into higher levels of distractions. This is perfectly normal, perfectly acceptable, and pretty much perfectly frustrating all at the same time, because you can see his potential, and you'll see it here as we start to work with him, a super high level of potential, and sometimes we just start to take that for granted into thinking, well, he could quickly become like our last dog who might have been super well trained. But we forget that there was that youthful period of time where every dog, and just like every human, goes through that goofy stage. I like to call it pupperty instead of puberty, but it's kind of the same idea. He's entering to 8 months of age, and so in his mind, he thinks he pretty much knows what to do, and he doesn't really need our coaching as much as he used to, at least in his mind. Of course, we know in reality, this is the time they need our coaching the most, and this is where they could really get themselves hurt or in danger if they're not careful. And so we have to really, kind of take a hold of them just like you do a regular teenager, and put some boundaries on them and keep them safe so that they can live to be adults. So I want to show you kind of some of what we've been dealing with. In this video, you'll see where we went to Lowe's for a field trip, and I love Lowe's because they're pet friendly, and I always try to buy something when I'm there, so thank you, Lowe's. I definitely support you back. But we're in there quite a bit, and they know me locally, and so when I come in with Beau, he is beautiful. You can see he is just a gorgeous golden retriever, and everybody wants to pet him, and he knows that. And so he takes advantage, and he jumps up and he licks and he paws and he scratches, not in a mean way at all. But the fact is that this is uncomfortable for people, and worse than that even, it's teaching him some long-term bad habits that are going to carry over if we don't stop them now. So this is a stage where we have to, set firm boundaries, and we have to kind of be the bad guy for a while in order to get through to him. So anyway, you'll see the video at Lowe's, and you'll see what I mean by some of that. But now let's get into some of the basics that we've been training him here. And with the low-level distraction level I have right now to enjoy, you'll see that he'll do quite well. So as always, the first thing we always work with is this unspoken command. So if I just walk away and I don't say anything, he can do whatever he wants as long as he stays on the length of leash that I've given him. And so you can see, he's loosely following me here, keeping an eye on me. He doesn't have to do anything more than that. He can sniff the ground, he could be in front, he could be behind, he could be to my left, he could be to my right, but the one unspoken command is always the same. We don't want a dog to get to the end of the leash at any time for any reason. So this is something that you'll continue to practice for another year really in order to get him really good at, because in here with the low-level distraction that we're having, it's almost flawless. I mean, he's right there. Maybe I caught him just lagging a little bit, but the idea being he's really pretty good. If we start adding distractions to this, we always say that distractions are to dog training as weights are to weightlifting. And so if you think about a super strong person, that person can lift a lot of weight. And when you think about a super well-trained dog, that dog can work through a lot of distraction. And so we're adding that weight carefully so that we're not overburdening the dog to where they're going to fail and maybe get injured, just like with weightlifting. If you put too much weight on the bar, even if you put a gun to my head, I'm not going to be able to lift it, and me trying to lift it might get myself injured, probably will. And so people can mess up a good dog if they're not careful by putting too much weight on them too fast and then putting too much pressure for them to perform, and that doesn't do anything for your training except take longer to get through. So what we try to do is strategically add weight to the bar as we see the dog able, and be fluent, and in other words, be ready to change at a moment's notice from what your plan was for that session to backing up, or maybe at other times, increasing based on that dog's day that day. And so what we've got today is a pretty good day with Beau. The Lowe's thing I knew was going to be high level distraction. We have the Christmas season, and so you've got all the ornaments, and you've got all kinds of stuff going on out there, automatic opening doors, and these are all kind of new to him. And so I knew that distraction level was going to be a bit over the top. At the same time, it was doable in the sense that with good coaching and with my background, I was able to get him through pretty well, minus a couple of people who just really want the dog to be pet and want to interact, and you're trying to tell them in a polite way that we're kind of training right now, and so I'm trying to keep him from jumping, and if I let you start touching him, I know he's going to be all over you and he's going to be jumping, and that's not really what I want long term, so please, let's just not. And you'll see one instance where I had that interaction with an employee there, and I think she took it really pretty well, but it's a little hard for them because how do you not want to pet a beautiful golden retriever? But if it's over the top, and now your dog is learning bad habits, jumping, licking, barking, pawing, any of these kinds of things are negative things if we're thinking about a therapy dog or something like that down the road especially. And I know that that's one of the goals that we may have in mind for Beau long term. So as you see, even as I'm walking around here, he maintains that loose contact with me, and this is good. This is super important. But we want this to carry over even into higher levels of distraction. So when we walk him around at Lowe's, and you'll see sometimes where I did that, where I just give the release word, and I'm doing just like I am now, just monitoring his progress as he kind of wanders around and does what dogs do, sniffing, exploring, doing stuff like that, and just being ready to coach at any given moment if he starts to do something that is not what we were looking for. So obviously he starts to have an occasion where he wants to maybe lift his leg and mark on something, well, I'll be right there ready to coach against that. Or if he sees a person, he starts to try to pull me, then I'm going to reinforce that unspoken command right there at Lowe's, and don't be afraid to do that. So find yourself some quiet spaces. You'll see in the video where I've done that. I went back to a part where I saw there wasn't a lot of people, and so that I can let him kind of adapt to that environment without a lot of distraction, and then we start to go out there and explore a little bit and come back to our safe zone. So at home, your safe zone is your living room or wherever you like to train your dog on a regular basis. So the idea being is that's probably where you're going to have the best chance of connecting, keeping their focus, getting through your skills, all that good stuff. But just like an athlete, if that's where I stop, then I'm not going to ever be a super athlete. I need to get out there and do this where it counts in the real world. And so it's a gentle slope. We want to just be careful, as we progress, keeping in mind the art of dog training. That's again to be creating a challenging but doable environment for our dogs to work through each and every session. And if we do that, we're going to slowly but surely get where we want to go, and then some. If you could really keep that mentality and do it on a regular basis, this is the kind of dog that can be amazing, and I think he will be if we just keep that in mind. So the next thing we always go over is a simple sit command. Beau, sit. See him hit that like right away. And we're not using treats here. This is a big departure from puppy style training, which he just left. So when they're up to 5 months old, there's a lot of food involved in keeping them motivated and keeping them focused and keeping them happy, all that good stuff. But as we're getting into this level of training, I want it to be a relationship. I want him to be like, you're the guy that takes me to Lowe's. We have fun there. There's people there that I like to see. And as soon as he learns to greet them properly, he's going to have the time of his life. But today, we just weren't allowing greeting because he was just over the top, and I knew he was going to be into some negative behavior, and so we just basically buffered that distraction level to where he didn't get a chance to engage, because anything he did during the time that he was engaged was going to become a bad habit. And so we're trying to, coach him. And you see here, he's being super stable. Okay, I give that release word. He's not coming up and pawing or jumping. He's coming up and sitting. And what am I doing? I'm reinforcing that sitting. And this is what we want to continue to do everywhere we go. And if you can't do it, I have two thoughts for you. The first thought is, does he really need to be there at all? So, it comes to mind like family gatherings, okay? So the holidays are coming. I know Thanksgiving's a big one just next week for us. And so when I think about my own dogs, when they were younger at this age, and it was Thanksgiving Day, I knew that my job was to deep fry the turkey. So I'm the cook, and I like to do it. But let's face it, if you're deep frying turkey, your focus is on that, or it should be. A lot of fire stories around this time of year of people that aren't paying attention to their deep fried turkey. And so if your attention is going to be divided, the question is, does my dog really need to be there at all during this time? And if so, what's going to be the, outcome of that? Is it going to be, a good socialization time for the dog, and it's going to enjoy company and people are going to enjoy it, and it's not going to, develop into some negative behavior? Or is that, for my particular dog at this particular time, too high a level of distraction, and therefore too challenging and not enough doable in our philosophy? And do I need to buffer that distraction down a little bit? Maybe I give the leash over to somebody else that I trust and has done a little work with the dog while I cook the turkey. And if they're able to take the dog around and kind of coach as they go, this could still be a positive experience. But maybe it's not that available. And I've had times of this myself where, it's better off, at least until the turkey's done and everybody is finished with their meal. My dog has maybe been in a crate in the bedroom away from everybody, not as a punishment at all, but just as a safe place for the dog to be while I had to do what I had to do. And then after everybody settles down and dinner's been served, I would typically go ahead and get that dog out on a leash, and I'd come down and hang out, watch some football, and enjoy some conversation at the same time appropriately coaching my dog. So I guess this sermon, if you will, is really about the idea of, being aware that no matter what a dog's potential is, that they are going to go through phases in their development. And at this phase, it's a difficult one because they're bigger, they're stronger, and yet their mental endurance and their life experience are both so short that you have to just be ready for them to make mistakes. It's going to happen a lot. And so good coaching and good tools will get you through it. And then long term, you can get to that place in this dog's life, usually around the time that they're 2 years old, that you can just kind of not worry. I don't think anything about my German Shepherd, just run to the house no matter what's going on around there. Once I'm doing stuff, I don't even have to worry about her at all. So it's great. But for the first 2 years, there was a lot of coaching. So, all right, next we get into the heel command. And I always like to start with a simple command, sit. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and get myself in the heel position. Now, later we could train a dog to get in our heel position. That's awesome, but we're not there yet. So we tell him to sit, and then we're going to get ourselves in the heel position. So we know that you want him to be on your left side, and now that his paws and my feet are parallel with each other, and his right leg is right in line with my, or was, you're going to make me square dance? There we go. We want it just like that. It's a very, very particular position in relationship to your body. That's what heel is. And so if I give that command to heel, I want my dog to maintain that position in relationship to my body no matter where I go or what's between us as we go, or how fast or how slow I go, and ultimately even how long I might have to go. But for a short time, we need to keep in mind that this is an intense command, and therefore we don't want to do it for a mile, okay? This is more for maybe, a couple figure 8 patterns around these 2 cones, and that's a good start, okay? So let's try that. I'm going to lead with my inside foot. That's my left foot, the foot closest to our dog. And as I give that lead, I'm also going to give the verbal command to heel. Heel. Good. And now I'm keeping in mind 2 simple rules that everybody should remember as you start this. Rule 1. Walk slowly. Even if you're a speed walker and later you want to get into some high level training with your dog with agility and all that good stuff, start slowly. Walk slower than you like to walk. Second rule, keep walking. Do not stop no matter what happens until they're in position and focused on you, and then stop. Be sure they sit. There you go. And then reward that sit. The heel in the beginning starts with a sit, ends with a sit. It always ends with a sit, but later you could say the heel command from any position. They could fall in even if you're running a different direction ultimately. But when we give the command initially, we want to start with a sit, end with a sit, all right? When I lead with the outside foot, in this case my right foot, the foot furthest from Beau, I want the dog to learn to stay put. And I shouldn't even have to say stay. If I'm good at teaching the sit command, sit means sit and keep sitting until I tell you stop sitting. If I say stay, what's he doing different? And the answer, of course, is nothing. He's still just sitting. So you don't have to necessarily say stay. If you make it really clear, I lead with the outside foot, you stay put. And I lead with the inside foot. I always recommend, go ahead and give that verbal command heel in the beginning. Good. But if I practice that a lot, good boy, I should be able to just leave that inside foot. There we go. Without saying heel, and right away he's watching and not just listening for my command, and that's really what that's all about. So it's kind of flashy, it's kind of fun, but what I like most about it is it requires a dog not just to listen with their ears, but to watch with their eyes in order to take in information from you, and that just gives them that much more focus on you. If that makes sense, that's the reason I like to do it. Next thing we got into is this simple idea of down. So the down position is never just a down position, especially with a young dog and a male dog and a dog in adolescence. This is a symbolic salute, just like people do in the military. So when I say down, down, you can see a little balking there. He doesn't want to. No, down. And right there I showed you the technique. If he doesn't, I'm just lowering that leash, I'm taking my foot up, and then if need be, I'll step down on it. But that was mostly symbolic. He was kind of passive aggressive, if you will, toward that idea of laying down, because there's so much symbolism attached to this. And this is where I see people a lot of time struggle in their obedience. Their dog just won't down for them. And that tells me usually that's a relationship where that dog's saying, I'm not sure I respect you to the point where I want to salute you like you're my officer in the military. I'd rather just you salute me and lay down for me, sort of thing. So you can look up whole wolf type body language and stuff. I've been fascinated with it for years. And if you look at wolf documentaries and stuff like that, you'll see where the down symbolically is a submissive gesture designed so that the pack doesn't get into a lot of fights. Somebody can bow out. Basically, that's exactly what it looks like. The dog's like, never mind. I don't want trouble. And it preserves the pack from injuries and stuff like that. Heel. In our world, you just want your dog out of your, out of the way of the TV or something. Sometimes. It's just about a position. But it's still good that they learn this concept that you are that authority figure in their world. Good. Let's try that again. Down. No. Down. And you saw, right? All I had to do is barely lift my foot. It's just basically me committing to the idea that I'll make you do it if you won't agree to do it. And you see his tail kind of wagging there. This is a dog whose wheels are turning a little bit. He'd like to make a game out of this. He'd like to, try to keep from doing it. But he's already recognizing that he's probably not going to get by with that here, at least not right now. As distractions increase, this gets more difficult. So when you try to do your down command, be sure it's going really smoothly, in your own living room before you even think about trying to do it, outside around the block. So just practice that. As I lead with my outside foot now, he should still now stay put in the down position. Let's see if that works for me. So I'm leading with that outside foot. What a good boy. That's what we like. Awesome. And then if I lead with my inside foot, again without saying anything, good boy. Come on. Come on. There you go. Little coaching there. He was a little slow. getting into that heel position. So what I mean by coaching is, if I can just encourage them, there you go, to do it right, rather than correct them for doing it wrong, I will. So he was focused on me, right? So he was watching me. He's just lagging behind me to get up here a little faster. And all I did was encourage him forward, and I tapped my leg a couple times. You can see, even as I tap my leg, see his tail? Dogs, get that patting as kind of this encouragement type of thing. I used to even keep keys and stuff in that pocket just to make jingly sounds, but I found that, over the time, I don't have to do that if I time it right. It only really works if they're focused on you. Heel. If they're not, then, they're not going to probably notice that you're tapping, but if they're looking and you can coach them instead of correct them, I prefer to do that, especially for a young dog that's just learning. Look at that. What a good boy. Down. Yes, no resistance, no games, just got the job done. That's kind of what we're after. Very good. Okay. Okay is a release word. He's coming forward without jumping, without pawing, without licking, without barking. In other words, no demand behaviors. That's what we want to personicate. That's what we want to continue to work on with him, is in training here and then homework at home, making sure that that's the case. If he's going to go forward and jump on people, as you'll see in the video, you just have to say no. I know it's hard and it's not popular at times, but if I don't say no, then that dog is going to start to learn some bad habits that I'm just going to have to say no more later in order to fix. So you have to kind of be ready to be tough when you do get out in public. Take them to dog-friendly places, and I love these places that love dogs, and they're open to letting us come and train. But at the same time, I always have to be keeping in mind that I'm here to train and coach more than I'm here to kind of make friends with the people here. So you'll see in the video where I had to say no to one lady. One guy I did let, because he kind of had the right attitude about getting down there and trying to keep things calm. But if that's not going to be the case, then you just have to do what you got to do. I think he's a great dog. He's on his way. We're only halfway through our daycare training portion. We've got 3 more private lessons to do. We'll have another video toward the end of this program for you, showing all the stuff we've been working on and where he's gotten to, and we'll look forward to showing that to you as well. So thanks for watching, and as always, we'd like to wish you a happy training day. Good boy. No. Yep. 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 Oh. Yep. No. Yep. Sit. Good boy. Yep. Good boy. There you go. Good. Heel. Heel. Come on. Heel. Sit. Good. Good boy, Beau. Now sit. Good boy. There's a good boy. There's a good boy. Yep. 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 Good boy. Yeah. Good. Sit. Good boy. Okay. Good job. Good. Good boy. Now you can sniff a little bit if you want to. There you go. Sit. Beau, sit. Good boy. Good boy. Heel. Sit. Good. Heel. Thank you. Yep. No. Sit. Good. Good boy. Yep.
You got your helper with you.
Yes, sir, I do. You know, he's a little young to be much help, but we're learning.
Hello there.
He's real friendly.
What's
his
his name?
is Beau, and we're just trying to keep
Hello,
him from
Beau.
jumping. If he'll sit, you can pet him,
I
but
tell
we're
you
trying
what,
to.
Beau, I'm going to come down to
There
you.
you go. Oh, you know your
buddy.
business. There we
Hello,
go.
buddy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's a big
Do
pup.
you like tummies? Do you like tummies?
Oh yeah. Now, if you do too much of that, he may pee. So
Oh,
careful
boy.
with that. And he's
How old is he?
he's only 7 months old. That's
Oh, you're
lot
a
of it.
baby.
Just sit. No. Sit. Here. No, you're fine. No. Heel. No, heel. Yes, sir. Oh, all puppy. He's 7 months old of energy.
Full of fire.
Yeah, and he'll jump on you, so he's just learning
I
not
don't
to
mind.
jump. Well, we're trying
What
to
you
teach
looking
him
at,
not
fella?
to. Everything.
I understand
He's
that.
crazy. Uh-huh.
Hey there.
Sit.
Like kids, you can tell.
Oh, he
that.
likes everybody.
Goodness, can I try?
No, because we're trying to keep him from jumping, and he's already trying to jump on you. So once he learns to be calm, we'll let people pet him, and then he'll be like, oh. But right now, he would
Right now,
be
he's in training.
he'd be licking your face, and which you probably wouldn't mind. Have a great day. He'll see you later.
He's a good looking.
Oh, he is. 7 months from now, he'll be awesome. Don't feel. Don't feel. Feel. No, feel.